We are here at Webb Motorworks, and I'm talking with Chris Webb. You've got a very interesting project going on right here. I've walked by it a few times, and it took a minute to catch my attention.
Yeah, for sure. You probably thought it was gas, and it's like, another 32 Ford with a gas motor in it,
Absolutely,
right?
and it's not a gas motor. It's an electric motor,
it is.
And that's what I love about it is
thank you.
it doesn't look like the typical electric motor. It has the look of your traditional gas-burning engine.
That's correct.
With all of the efficiency of an electric motor. How did you end up doing this?
Well, way back when in 2015, I came up with the idea. I saw Chip Foose. He had a 32 Ford and he had a V12 in it, Lincoln Flathead. And I tried getting one, couldn't get it. It's like, man, maybe I'll make my own, because they're only 100 horsepower. So I thought, I got a small block Chevy. Why don't I disguise it as a V12 Flathead? And then I thought, why don't I do a V8 too? So I kind of made these castings, learned how to do castings, and started out with that. And then I had a busy construction company. I really didn't have time to pursue it, but everybody just kind of loved it. And then a couple years back, my daughter came to me, hey, why don't we make an electric hot rod? And I'm like, no, that's for sissies. Come on, we don't want to do that. And then I started looking into it, Bob, and as you know, full torque at 1 RPM. So I thought, I've got these casings for my original idea, and why don't I just throw an electric motor in them? And then I kind of thought, well, why not with the V12, maybe I can put batteries in the block, put the motor and a gear reduction, 1.9 gear reduction, and then all in one thing, just pop it in. In this case, we wanted about 160-mile range, so we put a second battery pack in the back. And the Camaro we're doing, I can take you up and show you that later, but that one's got it's original 4-speed attached to that, so it's actually got 4 speeds with 500 horsepower, 440 foot-pounds of torque, and that car's got a 80 kilowatt pack, so we're actually 240-mile range, which is pretty good for a hot rod.
Oh man, so the power with the ability to sneak out in the middle of the night and not piss off the neighbors. That's great.
Exactly, and you're nice and quiet. And the cool thing, the first one I did was my 1936 Hayes. That was my grandfather's logging truck, and funny thing is, it's 6,000 pounds. It's got 20-inch dually tires on it, and it's only 125 horsepower, 96 volt, but it's got 260 foot-pounds of torque. So you can start in third gear, and you light those tires up. And the cool thing about it is, because guys are like, oh, there's no sound, there's, I like that. But it's like all you hear is the click, 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 click of the rocks and the tires, as you're spinning your tires.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So I would say my daughters who kind of pushed me into it, and then, away we went, eh?
Very cool. So this right here is a casting. How many different castings do you produce now?
Well, right now I've got 6 different motors. I got a Hemi, small block Chevy V12, and you might say, well, Chevy never made a V12. Well, yeah, they did actually. 64, they did a GMC 702 cubic inch V12.
I never knew that.
Oh yeah. And then I did a Hemi for the Dodge guys, and then right at the very end, like it was run out of time, I was like, I got to get something for the Ford boys other than the flatheads. So I did a 429 Cobra Jet.
Wow.
Yeah, I got pictures on my Instagram of that. I didn't have time to ship it. It was still wet, and I was hopping on the plane, and it wouldn't fit in my suitcase. But, if you look on my, I think it's on my website,
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And what's your website for anyone that would want to see it?
WebbMotorworks.com. I think you could probably look on the picture over there with the camera later or whatever.
Okay.
It's worth looking at. We've got lots of YouTube videos. My daughters, like even when we were building these, the first prototype, like my daughters helped me. They're running the wires, they're hooking up stuff, they're putting bolts on. They were a real integral part, and because they loved helping me in the garage, over the years and stuff. And now, my daughter Emily, she's a pretty smart cookie, a hell of a lot smarter than me, and I want to retire one day, so she wants to be the CEO of the company. If we get interest, I mean, it's a lot of money to get into production with this, and a lot of scaling, so we just wanted to come to SEMA, see what the interest is, because if someone comes, oh, it's like a plastic motor on an electric thing, I don't want that, but that's not what's been happening. People are like, you know what? I didn't really want to put an electric motor in my car, but then there's companies out there, not a lot of companies, but there's companies out there that do beautiful jobs, and it's a little bit more modernistic, and that might be for those guys. but the traditionalist old guys with the beards like you and stuff.
Yes, sir.
You know, us beardy guys. Well, I don't have a beard, but they want to see the old flathead. You know.
Yeah,
so,
and that's been the interesting thing for me is,
yeah.
You know the custom market, SEMA especially, is where you see what's coming.
Yeah.
So I've seen full size trucks. I've seen what would generally be a hot rod with a big thumping motor in it.
Yeah.
All of them are electric.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
Yeah.
But you know, you don't have the appeal of what's going on here.
And, you know, a lot of things are rushed, eh? Like, everybody wants to get on the bandwagon. I can appreciate that. And you know, they got the Cybertruck coming out, and it's rushed. It's not ready, you know. And Ford's coming out with beautiful trucks. Chev's coming out with beautiful trucks. Chevy's coming out with a crate motor. Ford's coming out with a crate motor. But can you buy them? Well, we don't quite ready, you know. So everybody's really trying, but nobody's really quite ready because, you know, there's just a handful of guys that probably could do this. There's probably 100 guys in the U.S. that could maybe build these battery modules, and, well, 100, you know what I mean. But there's not a lot of people that can do this yet. It's in its infancy. You know?
Yeah,
so,
and you're way ahead of the game already.
You know, I thought I was 5 years ahead, but, you know, other than the cost, you know, it's the cost of the batteries are very, very expensive. Like, even to rush these batteries here, because of COVID, there was problems with shipping and that. Just to ship the batteries, not to buy them, just to ship them by air to Canada for the 3 cars was $17,000 US dollars. You know, so for a little guy like me, you know, scalability is difficult. Our controller, like the electric controller for the Camaro to get the high horsepower, it was a handmade controller. $21,000 just for the controller.
Goodness.
So all these prices are going to come way down. The lower voltage motors and controllers, they're very affordable right now, but the higher voltage stuff, you know, it's still pretty pricey, right? But it's kind of the thing to do. You can run smaller wires. You can have a motor maybe half the size with double the horsepower. But I really do like the low voltage stuff, but, you know, moving forward, it's this high voltage, 400 volts in this car. The Camaro's got 800 volts, and it's getting a little tricky then, you know. You don't, you have to watch about liability, and you don't want, you know, somebody licking their finger and shoving it in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, man. Is there anything else particular you'd like to point out and what's going on here? Like, how does it charge? Like, what's the?
So it's actually kind of cool if you come around the back here. You can see the charging port. Usually what we do is just use the old gas cap. And you can actually give you a chance to look in the trunk here for the second battery pack, because we wanted, you know, instead of a 80-mile range, we wanted a 160-mile range, so we put some more batteries in the back. But the main thing probably for you, Bobby, is where do I put my beer, right?
Yes, sir.
Or the Mafia guys, they got to have room for a couple Tommy guns and a dead body.
Yep.
Well, you can still get that in there, right? And then right here is, this pops off like that. And, you know, you got your old original gas cap, right? So that's kind of cool.
Wow.
Things like that. But, yeah, if you guys want to come over to the other booth, I'd be more than happy to walk you out the back there and show you the other cars if you got time, you know.
Yeah, we'll have to coordinate with you on that for sure, but I definitely want to see that. I mean, what you've got going on is amazing, and I definitely want to see the higher horsepower, show people what you're doing. But
right on.
Other than that, Chris, thank you very much, man. This
pleasure,
is amazing,
Bobby.
what you got going on.
It's been great talking to you.
I look forward to seeing more.
Yeah, for taking the time. You know, you're a busy guy. There's a lot of cool shit here at SEMA. Oh, sorry, I have cool stuff. You know, I had to say that.
Yes, sir. You got to get one in.
Right on. Yeah.
Well, thank you, buddy, and good luck,
pleasure.
man. Hope to see a bunch more of these out there.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.